Hello everyone, it's DJ again. I'm trying something a little different. I'm hoping to give you better audio quality, so I've been playing around with the microphone, both with the settings and the positioning of it. Hopefully it comes out a bit better for you. Before I had the microphone a bit farther away. Now it's actually right here. If you can see the very top of my hand at the bottom of the screen. I've been messing around with a lot of things this evening, so hopefully things come out a bit better for you. And actually it does help if you have your recording software set to pick up from the right microphone. That's huge. Alright, so this is going to be a very short episode. There are quite a bit of numbers involved, but they are mostly in the examples that I'm giving you in the resource section. It is very important to look at those. If you're listening in podcast land, then please go to the resources section of this episode and look at all of the resources I've put in the show notes. They are going to be essential in understanding my topic today. And first of all, let me give thanks to YouTube viewer I Do Stuff for his question, which led to this episode. He asked a question about withdrawing from the survivor benefit plan, and I answered it in the comments, but I also thought it would be a worthwhile topic to discuss for everybody. So first, let me read his question and part of my answer, and then I'll go into the meat of today's episode. So he asked, which video shows how to make changes to the SBP, the Survivor Benefit Plan? I responded, episode 51. It's just talking about the importance of doing it. I get the impression you're looking for a step-by-step how-to guide. Is that correct? He replied, basically yes. I'm 100% totally and permanently disabled, wondering if I can somehow reduce it or get rid of it altogether. Alright, so my response to I Do Stuff was quite long and quite involved. In fact, I just tweaked it a little bit, added some additional information, and turned it into this week's episode. So as I get into this, I'm hoping that I can dissuade a lot of you from making the decision to withdraw from the Survivor Benefit Plan, but you should still have the information on how to do so, should that be your decision. And as I go through this, whenever I say Survivor Benefit Plan or its acronym SBP, I am talking about both the reserve component Survivor Benefit Plan and, as I sometimes call it, the active duty Survivor Benefit Plan. Now, let me say up front that I do not recommend withdrawing from the SBP. Many people do balk at the amount of the premiums, but in reality, it's actually quite difficult to find life insurance at reasonable rates when you have a lot of disabling injuries or other health problems. Also, when you determine the amount needed to truly cover a spouse for life, the actual cost of life insurance is even higher quite often than the cost of the Survivor Benefit Plan. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a fan of life insurance. I do believe it is a good thing. You just need to go into this with all of the necessary information so you can make an informed decision. Now, life insurance is typically a one-time payout of a normally significant amount of money upon the death of a covered person, but that money can quickly run out, especially when you consider the normal costs of just living. That money can run out rather quickly. So let's get into the actual topic. If someone wants to withdraw from the survivor benefit plan, that can be done. You can make changes or sometimes cancel the SBP election when you have certain life events. For changes, you have to have certain qualifying life events like the divorce of a spouse, marriage, death of a beneficiary, things like that. The service member has 1 year from the date of that event to make that change. And if he doesn't make an election within that 1 year time frame, then the current election remains in place. And I've done episodes about this in the past. I'll put links to it in the show notes. The two primary episodes I think you should view if you are new to the Survivor Benefit Plan are the basics of the Reserve Component Survivor Benefit Plan and updating Survivor Benefit elections, the sad story of Staff Sergeant Walker. Now, with that said, it is possible to withdraw from the SBP. You have to meet one of these three conditions in order to do so, and I'll just read them verbatim. You must be in your 3rd year of receiving retired pay, so anywhere between the 25th and 36th month. Next, you must be 100% totally disabled by the Veterans Administration after retirement and have had that rating for at least 10 continuous years. The last option or qualifier, you must be 100% totally disabled by the Veterans Administration on the date of retirement and have held that rating for at least 5 continuous years. So, you see, for all of them, there's a length of time involved, and you have to meet one of those 3 criteria in order to withdraw from the Survivor Benefit Plan. If you meet one of those criteria, then you can go forward with a withdrawal. To do so, as always, there's paperwork. You need to complete a Department of Defense form, or DD form, 2656-2, 2656-2, and include a letter detailing your reason for withdrawal. If you're in the 3rd year of receiving retired pay, then of course that's your reason. You don't really have to say much in that regard. You do have more involved if you are 100% disabled. If you are, it would be a good idea to include your VA decision letter showing your complete incapacitation and a copy of your retirement order. A copy of the order establishes a timeline so that it's very obvious that you've met the time requirement. Now, obviously, since the Survivor Benefit Plan was designed to protect spouses, your spouse must agree if you wish to withdraw. And, so the spouse would sign the form in front of a notary, and the form would be notarized. Now, usually a withdrawal from SBP is permanent. You can never go back under the Survivor Benefit Plan if you withdraw. The only exception is if you lose your 100% VA disability rating. If your rating drops 90%, 80%, whatever, then you can re-enroll in the Survivor Benefit Plan within 1 year. So at least there's that option. But if you are in that 3rd year of retired pay and choose to withdraw, there is no option to re-enroll. So if you're considering this, think very carefully. And I actually recommend that you talk to a retirement services officer who is also a qualified survivor benefits counselor so you can get all of the information you need. Now, also keep in mind that if you make this withdrawal, then you will not get a refund of the survivor benefit premiums that you've paid in the past. This is quite unnerving for some people, but if you are 100% disabled and you pass away, then your spouse can apply to have the premiums refunded without interest when she applies for dependency and indemnity compensation. This is a VA supplement that supports the widows of disabled veterans. And if you have a 100% rating, it is very easy to qualify for dependency and indemnity compensation, or DIC. The current 2018 rate for DIC is $1,283.11 per month. Now, when I'm at work, I usually provide a comparison of life insurance versus the survivor benefit plan, so service members can see the full impact of what they are considering. Now, part of that comparison includes the full amount of life insurance that would be needed to fully replace the lifetime value of SBP. The replacement value of SBP is usually several $100,000 or even a couple of $1 million. Very often, the amount of life insurance that the member has is far less than the full replacement value happens to be. And when I give them a generic quote of the life insurance cost, like I said, it tends to be less than the SBP premium. I am going to include two of those comparisons. I've provided them in previous episodes, so I'm just going to repost the links for those. For both of these comparisons, I'm assuming a 60-year-old retiree with $100,000 in life insurance. So you can then see both how long the life insurance payout would last and what the total replacement value of SBP would be. When you look at these comparisons, keep in mind that I am assuming that the surviving widow is only using the amount out of the life insurance that equals the payout from the survivor benefit annuity. So for the first example, I'm assuming the widow is using $550 per month, which obviously you need more than that to survive. So the second example shows the widow using $2,000 per month, and then you see how much life insurance would be needed to last through the widow's life at $2,000 per month. Now, we have to admit, as a population, we service members have become quite spoiled by the cost of service members' group life insurance. $29 a month for $400,000 is pretty good. We get very spoiled by that, but that is a subsidized rate. Now, despite the hype that we get throughout our career, veterans group life insurance is typically a bad deal for service members unless you have severe health problems. So this means that you have to consider the higher cost of life insurance if you're trying to purchase enough to completely replace the survivor benefit plan. I will also include several generic life insurance quotes, for anywhere from $500,000 to $2 million in coverage, and at various lengths of term, so you can see what those costs are. And for these quotes, I'm assuming a healthy 46-year-old retiree who does not smoke. And again, you'll see that the costs of replacing the SBP are much higher than the survivor premiums actually turn out to be. I would also be remiss if I did not mention that if your spouse does have survivor benefit coverage and is also eligible for DIC, dependency and indemnity compensation, then the DIC payment will offset the SBP annuity dollar for dollar, just like VA compensation does for military pay. However, There is also a thing called the Special Survivor Indemnity Allowance, or SSIA, which is a stipend paid in addition to SBP when there is a DIC offset. The current SSIA amount for 2018 is $310 per month. All of this can be seen, all of this is in addition to whatever life insurance policies you may have already purchased. In fact, my recommendation is that you have the survivor benefit plan and a supplementary life insurance policy. Now, if you are considering withdrawing from the survivor benefit plan, I, of course, would like to hear from you. I'd like to hear your reasons, and I'll almost definitely try to talk you out of it, but still, I'd like to hear your reasons for it. I'd be very interested in what decisions you ultimately make. Please keep me informed, if you don't mind. So that is actually all I have for now. Like I said, this is going to be a very short episode. I just wanted to get the basics of this information out there to you, again, so you could make an informed decision. Now let me go into a couple of housekeeping notes, a few announcements. If you did not see my earlier video, a real quick video from a couple of weeks ago, I announced that I am going to be I will be hosting a radio program on WRMA radio. It's a shortwave radio station. I will be hosting currently a 30-minute retirement information program at 16:30 Eastern Standard Time, on frequency 7780 kilohertz, every Sunday. Now, with daylight saving time, that could change. That normally does, and that would go back an hour. And it may be that we switch frequencies at another point, but that's all in the future. So right now, it's 16:30 Eastern Standard Time on frequency 7780 kilohertz. I have a widget on the left-hand side of my website, rcretirement.com, which gives that information, as well as a couple of Amazon affiliate links for affordable shortwave radios you can purchase if you would like to listen. A couple of days after each broadcast, I will also upload the episode to SoundCloud so that people can access it there. So those are the announcements. And as always, I do thank you for being part of this audience. I thank you for your service, as we all do. And most of all, for today, I thank you for being here, for being willing to learn more about the benefits you're earning, and being able to make an informed decision as a result. So thanks again. Please join me next week.
If you liked what you heard on today's episode, then please go below and give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to this channel. Also, please let other people know about this channel and the information it can provide for them. If you have questions or comments, then have no qualms about posting them in the comments section below. Please remember the RC Retirement YouTube channel and the RC Retirement website are not recognized or endorsed by the Department of Defense, the Department of Veterans Affairs, or any other government agency. The information presented in these resources are for entertainment and informational purposes only. Also, the content of either of these resources should not be considered financial or legal advice. Please consult with your own legal counsel, accountant, and financial planner before making any decisions based on what you have learned here. As always, thank you for watching the RC Retirement YouTube channel.